Okay, so we are finished davening, and we covered yesterday the prayer for travelers, right, which is right after the 6 remembrances. And today we'll start talking about page 86 and 87 in our siddur. So pages 86 and 87 are blessings for various occasions. What is the reason that would be here in the siddur? Most likely, or possibly, is because we are told in the Code of Jewish Law that you're not supposed to eat before your prayers in the morning. So in the morning before you pray, you shouldn't have anything to eat before you pray. You go straight to prayer. First, you take care of God's needs, you tend to God, and then you tend to your own needs. And so by the time you finish davening, you're ready for either breakfast or for brunch. You're ready to eat something before you go about your day. And so we have the blessings appear here. Before we get into the blessings that drop, it's just interesting that we don't eat.
A question before you. Can I have a question?
Yeah, sure.
What is the latest time you can do Shacharis?
The latest time you can do Shacharis is the 5th hour.
Which time?
Right before, or up till midday, till Chatzos. Before
midday?
Yeah, a little before midday. Yeah. So this law that we don't eat before davening is practiced by most Jews, but we know in Chabad, you'll find that in Chabad, not only are we not particular about not eating before davening, but you could say perhaps that in Chabad there's actually an emphasis to eat something before davening, which seems to run counter to this halacha. So the origins of this, the reason for this, is because in a couple generations ago, the Rebbe Marash, the 5th Rebbe of Chabad, his wife, Rebbetzin Rivka, the 4th Rebbe of Chabad, his wife, Rebbetzin Rivka, was not well. She was actually young. She was not even, I think, 20 at the time, possibly. She was a teenager, possibly, at the time. And she was not well. She went to the doctor, and the doctor told her that she needs to eat first thing in the morning. She was a very pious woman, and she would pray every day, and she would take her time in her prayers. And so for her, she'd wake up in the morning, and she'd pray. By the time she finished praying, it was already late into the morning. So the doctor said, you need to eat. For your health, you need to eat early in the morning, first thing in the morning. So she didn't want to eat before davening. So she figured to herself, she'll just start waking up earlier, even, extra early. Like that, she'll finish her prayers earlier, and like that, she'll be eating earlier in the day. Anyway, she came to her father-in-law, to the Tzemach Tzedek, and the Tzemach Tzedek found out about what she was doing. She told him what was going on, and the Tzemach Tzedek disapproved. He said it's not okay to do what you're doing. Obviously, it was a way she was trying to circumvent, she's trying to sort of satisfy both sides, actually, trying to do what the doctor wanted to eat earlier and daven earlier. But obviously, the earlier you wake up, the earlier she would have to eat. And Tzemach Tzedek said that it's not okay what she's doing, that better, and he said like this, he said, it's better to eat in order to daven than to daven in order to eat. In other words, rather than davening earlier, so that you can finish with your davening, so that you can then get to breakfast, better do the opposite. Better eat so that you have the energy and the patience or whatever to be able to daven. And so this statement by the Tzemach Tzedek to his daughter-in-law, to Rebbetzin Rivka, is really the basis for why in Chabad there's an emphasis on eating before davening. But really it runs deeper than just this, this idea that if you're hungry, you're going to rush through your prayers, you're not going to be able to concentrate on your prayers. It really represents a deeper idea, which is what's the purpose of our engagement in spirituality? We're davening, which is to connect to Hashem. What's the purpose of all of it? So for many people, why do you daven? You daven so you can get stuff. You pray so you can get stuff from God. I have all kinds of stuff that I need. And in order to get what I need to, be in God's good graces. I need to have a relationship with him. I need to have somewhere I can go to talk to him and ask him for all my things. So in other words, why do I pray? Or why do I have a relationship with God? So that I can get something out of it. That's the whole point of my relationship with God. To get something from him. And what do I want? Whatever it is. I need my food. I need parnasa. I need to be able to support myself. Whatever it is that I desire. Chassidism teaches us that the opposite is true. That the material world is a means by which we actually connect with God. And when we're here in this world, it's not about just seeing what we can get, taking whatever we can get, and grabbing and seizing anything and everything we can get our hands on. But to the contrary, we're here. This is God's world with God's purpose, and the purpose of it is to establish this relationship with God, and then to utilize all of creation as a means or tools through which we actually connect with God. So that's what the Tzemach Tzedek is telling his daughter-in-law, that the material world, it's not that there's the spiritual reality that is a means to get the material, or even to get something spiritual, but they're all the same. And so eat in order to daven. Eat and allow that experience, the material, the physical experience of eating, which is seemingly a lowly experience of man, right? One that represents our mortality and our vulnerability. Utilize that in your service of God. Have that fortify, deepen, and strengthen your relationship with God. This idea, which really is about prayer and eating before prayer and relationship with the halacha, but really actually informs the whole idea of blessings, which we're going to talk about, God willing,